All right. I want to welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. Thank everybody that's joining us live. We should pick up a few more as they come in. The floor is yours. Let me know what it is that y'all want to talk about.
But I do have a question that I told everybody today that I was going to ask because I always get after everybody playfully about drinking energy drinks. And so, when they first came out, of course, they were loaded with caffeine and sugar and all that sort of thing. And so I think pretty quickly people recognized that those were not very healthy. And of course, now there's all sorts of types that supposedly, don't have all of those sort of things in them. Uh, Personally, I don't use them at all. And then, I don't even drink coffee. So uh, I know a lot of people need that caffeine to kind of jolt to get the day started. But I wanted to know what your thoughts were regarding, those drinks because they are so widespread.
Number one rule when it comes to any drink is do not drink your calories.
Mm.
So anything that has sugar in it, that has calories in it, obviously protein shakes, milk, stuff like that, the benefits outweigh the calories that are coming in it. But when it comes to anything else that you're drinking, any calories that you drink are not satiating at all. They're not going to help fill you up. And it's just added calories on top of everything. If it has sugar in it, you don't drink it. Now, what I usually go by is a cup of coffee that doesn't have, I'm talking regular coffee. I'm not talking going to Starbucks and buying a $9 milkshake, but a cup of coffee that you just put a little bit of healthy creamer in and maybe some, 0 calorie sweetener, that's fine. But other than that, everything you drink either needs to be a protein shake if you need to supplement your protein or water. That's pretty much it. I'm not one of these people that believe that the 0 calorie sodas are horrible. Yes, some of the sweeteners that they use have been linked to cancer, but you look at the studies and you would have to drink like 36 cans a day to get to the levels that causes problems. Because one of the things you'll hear me say a million times, the difference between a medicine and a poison is the dose. If you have a headache and you take 2 Tylenol because you have a headache, that does not mean that 200 Tylenol is going to be better. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to 0 calorie sodas. And in fact, there's a lot of research that also shows that as you're trying to eat healthy, you start getting a sweet tooth, that those 0 calorie sodas can go a long way toward curbing that sweet tooth for you. Gives you a little something sweet. It's got the bubbles in it, something that you're used to, and those are fine. But I wouldn't make it a habit of drinking tons of them. We got a question popped into the chat. How much is too much caffeine? Let's see, because there have been heart issues because of too much caffeine. All right, so here's my general rule with caffeine: no caffeine after noon. And that goes directly to the half life of caffeine. You'll make sure it's completely out of your system by the time you get ready to go to bed. So, any caffeine that you have, try to keep it in the mornings. Any caffeine, you don't want to do that before you want to keep it before noon. You don't want to do anything after noon. Now, obviously, caffeine will increase your heart rate. So, if you're dealing with a high resting heart rate, blood pressure issues, stuff like that, you have to really watch how much caffeine you consume.
And what about caffeine either prior to or after exercise?
Depends on when you're exercising. That no caffeine afternoon is kind of a hard, fast rule. You don't want it in your system. Now, caffeine can increase your workouts, obviously, gives you some more energy. But if you're working out in the afternoons, I'd stay away from the caffeine. If you want a good boost for an afternoon workout, they do have non-stem workout pre-workouts that you can take. The non-stem being it doesn't have stimulants in it, so there's no caffeine in it. It's basically a pump formula, helps with the blood flow, gets the pump to the muscles a whole lot better. They'll give you a little bit of a pick me up, but they don't have the caffeine and the stimulants in them.
So, talking about drinks still, when we get into protein drinks, there are like protein shakes. I know that we see there are several types of them, but uh, I'm trying to remember. So, I typically when I drink protein shakes, they are a Carnation brand, and so they're actually milk based.
Mm-hmm.
But then a lot of them are not. Uh, animal based like that. A lot of them are, plant based. What are your thoughts on those, one way or the other?
Here's the problem with all your plant based protein, they don't have leucine in them. It's they have to be added. Now you're talking about an even more processed protein supplement. I stay away from plant based proteins because of the lack of leucine. And if you're not familiar with it, leucine is one of the amino acids that you're getting out of your protein. And leucine is the amino acid that is directly correlated with muscle retention and muscle development. So we had a talk in the group. Forgot who it was.
It was
Somebody was asking about, was Jan, was it you?
with the collagen.
Yeah, with the collagen. And I made the comment, you can't count your collagen towards your protein goals for the day because you're not getting any leucine out of it. And it's the same thing with the plant proteins. If you want to use the collagen, use the collagen. I mean, it's good for hair, nails, and skin. There are benefits to it. Yeah. You're just not going to be able to count it towards your protein total for the day. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I'm using it. I'm going to use it.
But if you get a really good EAA blend, then you're making up for that anyway.
Remind me what the EAA is again.
Essential amino acids. There's two types of different supplements you can buy when it comes to amino acids. They're listed as BCAAs or EAAs. So BCAAs, that's branch chain amino acids. Your body actually makes that itself. And it's one of the most pointless supplements you can get because it's not doing anything for you. EAAs are essential amino acids. And the reason that they're listed as essential is your body can't produce it, so you have to consume it. So the company that I work with, it's called Perfect Amino, and they make drinks, they make tablets, however you want to do it. And basically, 5 of those tablets comes out to about 30 grams of protein. Now, those are really good if you're doing fasted cardio, especially because you can get up in the morning and you can take those EAAs. It doesn't break your fast because there's no calories in it. Your body's not having to break it down. But what it does is by adding those essential amino acids in, you're actually keeping yourself from going catabolic. So you're preventing your body from eating the muscle to come up with the energy.
So, when we're trying to, of course, eat enough protein, and the recommendations is a lot of protein. Mm-hmm. Do we have to, do you think, be real concerned with the amount of fat that we're consuming?
You still have to pay attention to the fats. You want to keep the dietary fats down, especially if you're in a fat loss phase. Here's the problem with the typical American diet. The typical American diet, if you look at all the processed foods and the fast foods and all that type of stuff, they are loaded with carbs and fats in the same meal. So what that causes is our bodies get to where they're not metabolically adaptive. Metabolically adaptive means your body's either burning carbs for fuel or it's burning fat for fuel. So one of the things I highly recommend for people when they're first getting started, especially if they're extremely overweight, is to separate your fats and carbs and make sure certain time of day you're just eating carbs, no fats, and later in the day you eat the fats with no carbs. And by giving your body just one source, you can actually teach it to become metabolically adaptive because it's the only option it has then is to burn that source for fuel. One of the crazy things about it, one of the largest demographics of people that are developing type 2 diabetes right now are people that have been on keto for 2 to 3 years. Reason for that is they haven't eaten any carbs, so their body adapts to where it doesn't know how to burn the carbs for fuel anymore. And when you can't process the carbs correctly, you're diabetic. But any fat loss journey, especially, you want to keep the dietary fats down. The way it breaks down is every carb that you eat is worth 4 calories. Every protein that you eat is worth 4 calories. Every fat you eat is 7. And then that's amplified by the thermic effect of food. So whenever you eat a carb, depending on the carb, whether you got processed stuff, you got natural stuff, whatever, but you're looking at somewhere between 6 and 10% of the energy from that food is actually used to break that carb down so that your body can use it, turn it into the glycogen that you can use. When it comes to protein, one of the reasons protein is so great, the thermic effect of food on protein is 30%. So if you eat 100 calories worth of protein, your body's burning 30 of those automatically just to break it down to the amino acids. The problem is when it comes to dietary fat, not only is it more than twice the number of calories per grams of fat, but the thermic effect of food is 0. Your body doesn't have to break it down to use it. You're getting all of it. When you're picking your meat out, you want to get as lean a meat as you can get. You want to get chicken, turkey, fish, because fish oil is good for you. You eat meat or red meat, you want to get as lean a cut as you can get. So like you go to buy hamburger meat, you want to try to get the 93 to 97% fat free. You want to try to get as much of that fat out as possible. So let's say that your protein goal is 180 grams of protein and you try to get that with all red meat and you're eating the 80-20 red meat. Yeah, you're getting too much dietary fat in. You when you're looking for a protein source, you use the protein ratio to figure out whether it's a good protein source or not. So what you do is you take the number of grams of protein times 4, because I said there's 4 calories in a gram of protein. Then you divide that by the total number of calories in the food. And you're looking for a number that's 0.5 or higher. So you take a whey protein shake and it's got 110 grams of, 110 calories in it. And it's 25 grams of protein. Well, that's 100 of those calories are coming from that, of that 110 are coming from the protein. That's a good protein source. Now, you can take something like peanut butter, which I've heard a lot of people say, I'm eating a lot of protein because I eat peanut butter all the time. Run that ratio on the peanut butter, and it comes out to like 0.18, nowhere near the 0.5. Peanut butter is a fat source, not a protein source. One of the best things you can do is just grill some lean meat and make you some vegetables to go with it, and boom, you're done.
Simple.
The more simple you keep it, the easier it is.
The thing that's so hard about this is you see so many different, so much information that contradicts itself, and so, we believe that, that meat obviously is pretty good because it's so lean, but then a lot of people say, well, it's still red meat, so you shouldn't be eating that much. Again, what are your thoughts?
So there is a certain group of people that they're pushing that red meat causes cancer even, which is complete and total bullcrap. There are political reasons behind a whole lot of this stuff that you hear that has nothing to do with fact. There's nothing wrong with red meat. Nothing wrong with red meat at all. As long as you're getting a lean cut. In fact, one of the best supplements that you can take, that anybody can take, and I recommend everybody take it, is creatine. Creatine is the most studied muscle building supplement there is. And there's even research now where they're finding out how important creatine is for your brain and for your brain health. It's been studied in preventing dementia. People are using it to 20 to 30 gram servings to get over jet lag when they travel. Absolutely amazing supplement that everybody should be taking. But pretty much the only food source that you're going to be able to get creatine naturally out of is red meat. Now, you're not going to be able to eat enough red meat to get all the creatine that you need. That's why you supplement it. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with red meat. Nothing at all. There's a whole lot of you're going to own nothing and we're all going to eat bugs behind all of the bad stuff about red meat.